Hello, welcome to this channel. It's Bowling Through the Bible. It's just a reading of the Bible, just straight up. Well, it was straight up, the first part. This is part 2. This looks like somebody wants to help me turn the pages. All right, so this is part 2 where we kind of read through it again, and then I'm just going to give little morsels, just help you digest it a little bit better, or maybe think a different way. Some people just read a story and like, yeah, okay, whatever. But there's insight into the Bible always with all Scripture. So it's important for teaching, rebuking, learning, getting wise, all these good things, good health benefits. So we're going to do that with my little introduction to what I have. I've read the Bible a while, so we're just going to kind of throw it in there, what I'm thinking. And today we really got somebody trying to turn the page on me. We got the fire folding camp stove. So I don't get paid by these people. They didn't even ask me to do this. It's just a product that I bought on Amazon. Since I hike and camp and stuff like that, we're out in the woods today. I figured it'd be nice to do a little fire. It is a little chilly, especially with no hair on your head and the wind blows. It gets a little nippy. So this is it's really nice, actually. I can feel the heat coming off of it, but it folds apart. Go to my first video and you'll see the introduction there to this guy. Here is how you spell it. Oh, hoo-hoo. Oh, hoo-hoo. All right. So now we're reading in chapter 21 of Genesis, and we're just going to start off and get going here. Let's see. Now the Lord was gracious to Sarah, as he had said, and the Lord did for Sarah what he had promised. Sarah became pregnant and bore a son a son to Abraham. Oh, hang on just a second, folks. Nope. There we go. Sorry. Let's see. Okay, bore a son to Abraham in his old age. At that time, God had promised him. Abraham gave the name Isaac to the son Sarah bore him. When Isaac was 8 days old, Abraham circumcised him. Ouch. And that was all part of the covenant thing between him and God. Remember? Okay. And as God commanded him, Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born to him. Now, here's the thought process. I know it's different 100 years back then. 100 years old was a lot different. Obviously, he has a kid at this point in time. But would you let a 100-year-old man circumcise you? Or if it was your kid, 8 days old? Would you, honey, I need to circumcise the kid? No, I don't think. I'm just saying. Okay. I'm sure he was really, quite well to do that in his age. But I'm just saying today, no, you're not touching me. All right, here we go. Keep on going. 8 days old, blah, 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 born to him. He was 100 years old, right? Okay. Abraham circumcised him as a good man, and Abraham was 100 years old when born to him. Sarah said, God has brought me laughter. Everyone who hears about this will laugh with me. That's probably true. I mean, how could you not laugh about that? A 100-year-old woman having a baby. I mean, that's kind of shocking, right? But she did, and so everybody was laughing with her as a joyous thing, right? More joyous than anything else. And she added, probably amazement, right? You kind of, do you laugh at things when you find it in amazement? Like shock and awe kind of thing? Like Elephant Man. You saw the Elephant Man, you'd be like, woo-hoo, and you start giggling, right? And maybe that's a natural reaction. And for those people that do that, circus performers, whatever, if that's your profession, I admire you, man. You guys got some amazing, not just the feats, not just the things you have about you that make you special, but your nerves of steel, your courage to be able to stand in front of people and show the world who you are. That takes something else. That is beyond me. I could never do that. And I commend you for that. That's a brave and noble thing. That's amazing that you guys allow Joe Public like me to be able to look and ponder and wonder about you. But you're the ones that have to go through that stuff. But we really appreciate that. So anyways, everybody's laughing with Sarah in amazement, and added, who would have said to Abraham that Sarah would nurse children, yet I have borne him a son in his old age. So that was Sarah saying that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to divert. So she was saying, who would allow him to have a son in his old age? Okay. The child grew and was weaned, and on that day Isaac was weaned. Abraham held a great feast. How cool is that, man? But Sarah saw that the son whom Hagar the Egyptian had borne to Abraham, and I remember, how was Sarah's idea? Hey, I know God said you was going to have children, so maybe, can you just sleep with my maidservant? And that's who that is, her maidservant. Who born to Abraham was mocking. So the kid was mocking the whole feast thing, mocking the other kid. And she said to Abraham, get rid of that slave woman and her son, for that slave woman's son will never share in the inheritance with my son Isaac. That was her idea, was to have a son through her maidservant. Now she's like, get rid of him. We don't need him anymore. So your plan wasn't good enough to start with, huh? You should have stuck with God's plan, right? Isn't that kind of funny? Do we ever have that situation in our life where we go, you know what? I really, you pray about something and you really feel it's supposed to go that way, and it's just taking longer than you think, and you interject your own idea into it, and then that thing comes about, and then it's too late. So it's a lesson to learn here, right? Let God. Let go, let God. Let God do his thing in his time. All right, so now she tells him, get that kid away from me. Get the maidservant out of here. They're not part of our family anymore. Just leave them. Now we're going to find out here. The matter distressed Abraham greatly because it concerned his son. But God said to him, okay, which son was he concerned about? Isaac or Ishmael? So he said, do not let it be distressed. Sorry guys. It was concerned about his son. But God said to him, do not be so distressed about the boy and your maidservant. So it's obviously the maidservant's boy, right? Do not be distressed about them. Listen to whatever Sarah tells you, because it is through Isaac that your offspring will be reckoned. So God's plan still take effect, right? It's still in effect. I will make the son of the maidservant into a nation also, because he is your offspring. Oh, I'm going to do some more fire here, I think, maybe. No, it's okay. I will make the son of the maidservant into a nation because of your offspring. Now, this is important. I'm going to give you a little nugget of truth right here. These two sons do grow into two different nations. Isaac becomes a nation, the Israeli nation, and then Ishmael becomes another nation. We'll find out about that later, but that's something you may want to do some research on your own. Figure out who those guys are from. Okay, and here's a clue. They're still warring today. The brothers are still fighting. Early the next morning, Abraham took some food and a skin of water and gave him to Hagar. And he set them on her shoulders and sent her off with the boy. She went on her way and wandered in the desert of Beersheba. So he packs them up and says, see you later. Bye. Leave. I mean, that would be hard to do for me. I don't know if I could do that. When the water in the skin was gone, she put the boy under one of the bushes. Then she went off and sat down nearby about a bow shot away, for she thought, I cannot watch the boy die. And she sat there nearby and she began to sob. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I don't want to watch my kid die. I'm going to put him over there under the bush and I'm just going to listen to him wail away till it's gone. How sad, right? Desperate, hopeless. We feel like that sometimes, don't we? Like, what are we going to do? There's nothing we can do about this situation we're in. The drugs we're addicted to, the alcohol, whatever it is that we have. How can we escape this? This is ridiculous. I'm just going to die like this. God heard the boy crying, and the angel of the Lord called to Hagar from heaven and said to her, what is the matter, Hagar? Probably not like that. Probably more like, what is the matter, Hagar? That's a little better translation, I guess, maybe. Do not be afraid. God has heard the boy crying as he lies there. Lift the boy up and take him by the hand, for I will make him a great nation. So God's will is still in effect. Well, her thought is on survival, and God's like thinking in the future, right? He's like, no, this is going to happen. You're going to make it through. What are you sitting there for? Then God opened up her eyes, and she saw a well of water. She saw, and let me read that again. God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. Is that a miracle? I don't think so. I think the well was there the whole time. And I think he just opened up her eyes. It's kind of like that for us. You know, that old saying, when God closes the door, another one opens. That's just our perception of how things go. And this is it. She's sitting there sobbing, and he opens up her eyes and said, look, hey, look to your right. A well of water. So she went and filled the skin of water and gave it to the boy to drink. And God was with the boy, and he grew up. He lived in the desert and became an archer. While he was living in the desert of Paran, his mother got a wife for him from Egypt. Now, why would she go to Egypt to get a wife? Because that's where she's from. She probably had relatives there, and she probably was like, "Hey, I got a boy. I need a wife." And so they arranged marriages. And that's what she did. And at the time, Amalek and Phicol, the commander of his forces, said to Abraham, so these are guys that are commanders of Abraham's forces, God is with you in everything you do, right? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Amalek is the king. Amalek, the king, and Phicol, the commander of his forces, the king's forces, said to Abraham, who's by himself, God is with you in everything you do. Now swear to me here before God that you will not deal falsely with me or my children or my descendants. Show to me and the country where you are living as an alien the same kindness I have shown you. Isn't this interesting? Remember, Amalek was the king, right? And wasn't this the guy that also tried to take Sarah, his wife, as his bride? But yeah, and Amalek was like, the Lord came to him and said, "You're dead. You're dead. You took a wife. It belongs to the prophet Abraham. That's his wife." And he's like, "What? I didn't mean to do that," right? So it's funny. He's coming to him and saying, "Look, deal with me fairly. Stop this lying stuff. I want this to be fair and square." So it's funny. He comes up with this treaty with him. Then Abraham complained to Amalek about a well of water that the Amalek servants had seized. But Amalek said, I don't know who has done this. You did not tell me, and I heard about it only today. So he's kind of funny. It's like, whoa, I didn't hear anything about this. Now you're coming to me at it? I mean, he's talking to what God called his own prophet, and he knows this guy has power. And he's like, well, you just came to me. I haven't had any time to deal with this yet, or even figure out what happened. And Abraham, today. So Abraham brought sheep and cattle and gave them to Amalek, probably to calm him down a little bit maybe. And the two men made a treaty. So it's part of the treaty. Abraham set apart 7 ewe lambs from the stock. And Amalek asked Abraham, what is the meaning of these 7 ewe lambs that you have set apart by themselves? He replied, accept these 7 lambs from my hand as a witness that I dug the well. Did he? I don't remember. Y'all remember if he dug the well? So that place was called Beersheba because the 2 men swore an oath there. After the treaty had been made at Beersheba, Amalek and Phicol, the commander of his forces, returned to the land of Philistines. Abraham planted a tamarisk tree in Beersheba, and there he called upon the name of the Lord, the eternal God. And Abraham stayed in the land of the Philistines for a long time. So that's interesting. Beersheba, was that physically dug by Abraham? Probably would have been called Abram at that time, right? So I'm not even sure at that point. I'm going to have to do some research on that. I think I'll do some research and I'll leave it in the comments below. So I'll let you guys kind of close that chapter, tie that knot right there. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Very good stuff. What did we learn today? God's plan is always in effect, even though we might have screwed it up. He still has a plan for us. And sometimes he keeps going with that plan. We didn't have a choice to start with, which is cool. Perfect time. Fire's out. Beautiful day. We're getting ready to walk back out of here and head back to home. So I hope you guys have many beautiful days like this. This is just gorgeous. You have no idea. It feels so good. Makes me want to go camping or fishing. Fishing's fun. I love fishing. But anyways, Have a good day. Be blessed. Don't forget to read your Proverbs. And don't forget to be good to somebody. Be a good neighbor. Okay? Y'all be blessed. Love you guys. Have a good one. See you later.